Thanks for joining me to talk a little bit more about the Recipe Review and Development Project. These are the objectives and expected outcomes. Cook the recipe at scale for the base and large batch to ensure accuracy of both. Submit your photos or video to assist other classes with key steps. Package the large scaled batch and donate it to families or school staff. And meet all the due dates for testing, revisions, and deliver a perfected recipe documentation on time. Thousands of students across 6 states use Kids Feeding Kids recipes to prepare family meals for their communities. To support that work, our recipes must be clear, accurate, and reliable. By reviewing, testing, and updating a recipe, you're helping Kids Feeding Kids grow, strengthen our resources, and fund more cooking projects. Your work ensures that classrooms everywhere can cook with confidence. We're counting on you, and we know you'll deliver a terrific updated recipe. Thanks for being a part of this work. Recipe development is more than just cooking. Here's how to approach this project like a pro. You need to write and keep detailed testing notes. Track results of your test batches to ensure consistent results when you make changes. Record and compare methods, steps, weights, measures, special features of the ingredients, cooking methods, or even the type or size of pans you used. All of these things ensure that you are accurately communicating the steps to others. All of these things combined contribute to your ability to write descriptive and helpful instructions. Photos and videos are of great help communicating steps or skills discussed in the recipe. Ultimately, the result is a comprehensive recipe others can follow successfully. Many times in my career, I've been hired to develop recipes for international food producers and regional franchises. My clients always gave me the specific outcomes they wanted, and with this project, you're gaining real-world career experience. This is the form your instructor has received with all the instructions for the project. They'll work through the steps with you, and it's important that you complete all of the steps and submit all of the information required. Kids Feeding Kids will be funding all of the ingredients and packaging just like we normally do, and you'll still donate a large portion of what you cook to families in your community. The executive director and founder of Pete's Garden and Kids Feeding Kids is Tamara Weber. She has made it her mission to package family-sized portions to encourage families with children to gather at the table for a nutritious meal together. This is why we package 24 ounces of prepared food in every container for an average per person serving size of 8 ounces a person. This is non-negotiable. As Kids Feeding Kids expands into more schools in more states, it's become necessary to ship cases of our containers directly to schools. These containers are one of our largest expenses of the program. Each case we ship to a school has 150 containers inside. To help reduce shipping costs, avoid sending too many containers, or wasting unused containers, we need to scale our recipes to fill a half a case, 1 full case, or 2 full cases. So it's important, again, that you do not deviate from the serving sizes of the batches required in this project. So let's do some simple math to help clarify. An 18-serving base recipe allows classrooms to cook a small test batch, become familiar with the recipe, and avoid wasting food or packaging. It also provides enough food to practice accurate container portions and allows for you to taste test. The 6 containers that you use to test your product can then be washed, sanitized, and reused. After you perfect the base recipe of 18 servings, then you'll need to prepare a large batch of 450 servings. Once you've successfully prepared and adjusted for the 450, you should be able to mathematically scale down to 225 and upward to 900. but you will only cook the batch for 450 servings. Notice that the number of servings and how many Kids Feeding Kids containers for each of those batch sizes. Why would we choose to scale at 225, 450, and 900? Because ingredients scaled for 225 fills 75 Kids Feeding Kids containers, and 75 containers is half a case. 450 servings fills 150 Kids Feeding Kids containers, which is one full case. And 900 fills 300 containers, which is two full cases. Accuracy reduces our shipping costs and enables us to fund projects in more schools and communities. This information and the calculations we just talked about are included on the project form I gave your teacher. Kids Feeding Kids recipes have 5 sections to support teachers and classes with information to feel confident about producing a quantity of food that their student skill level and classrooms are equipped to accommodate. We're going to take a brief look at each of those sections. Although the FAQs are the first page of the recipe, your work will begin by adjusting, reviewing, and testing the base recipe to accurately and consistently produce 18 servings that can be packaged successfully into your 6 Kids Feeding Kids test containers. You'll receive funding to test the base recipe up to 3 times. You might only need to test it once or twice, but 3 times is the maximum that we will reimburse. It's a good idea to schedule a phone call or Zoom with me in between your test batches if you're concerned about your outcomes. Do not test for the large batch of 450 servings until you feel confident that your base is accurate. But when you are ready, remember, you will only prepare the 450. You only scale mathematically for 225 and 900. Take as many photos and video of key steps as you are able. Visuals help teachers and students learn new techniques, anticipate outcomes, and prevent food waste of improperly prepared recipes. These are photos and video resources I made for 7th and 8th grade version of mac and cheese. Yours might not be quite as elaborate as mine, but hopefully this gives you an idea of how you might end up documenting pictures and video for your recipe. Keep track of how you organize your tasks and cooking for the large batch. How many days did it take your class to prepare and package 450 servings? How did you break up the work? Not every Kids Feeding Kids project takes place in a school with your bell schedule, the number of students per class, or the same kitchen equipment. But seeing how your class approached the work shows others how they might allocate the work in their setting. Even though the FAQ or frequently asked questions are located on the first page of all Kids Feeding Kids recipes, it's probably one of the last things you will review and update, because you'll need the experience of having cooked and packaged the recipe before you can determine what kinds of questions or hiccups other people might experience. I suggest that as you test your base recipe, someone in class is assigned to keep track of the kinds of questions that come up. If there are questions or confusion about certain things that multiple people have, those are probably good things to add to or review for accuracy on the FAQ. You should cost your base recipe and your large batch. In order for us to fund as many classes as we can, we budget a maximum of $1.50 per serving for all of our recipes. Do not include any non-food items in your calculation. Any pre-approved non-food items like special pans or sales tax will be reimbursed to your class, but we don't count that as part of your food cost. We do reimburse schools for these costs, but again, We'll handle that with your instructor when they file the reimbursement for Kids Feeding Kids. Your job is to be sure your food costs are ingredients only. I'm eager to see how your projects turn out. But first, a couple of reminders. Please remember to always follow all food safety guidelines during all phases of your project. And be sure to follow time and temperature controls when handling food. The Kids Feeding Kids project is a great opportunity to put our best industry practices to good use while helping others in our community. So there you have it. Cook the recipe at scale for the base and large batch to ensure accuracy of both. Submit your photos or video to assist other classes with key steps. Package the large scaled batch and donate it to families or school staff. And meet all the due dates for testing, revisions, and deliver a perfected recipe documentation on time. I'll send a link to these slides to your teacher in case you want to refresh or check your understanding of the project. And thanks again for making this part of your classroom experience.